Okay, so now again, today is the big day because I'm trying to incorporate everything you know about fractions into word problems. And the only thing you're really going to have to do is add, subtract, multiply, divide. That's what I want you doing. All right? Now, notice when I do the problems, I'm not just writing the answer. I'm writing out how I got the answer, but I'm letting my calculator actually give me the what? I'm actually letting the calculator give me the answer. All right, is everybody with me on this? So has everybody got their paper up ready to go? All right, so now let's go ahead and get started. All right, number one, it says, in each questions 1 through 3, use the following information. Your drama club is having a bake sale to raise money for costumes. You volunteer to make cookies for the sale. The table below shows the amount needed per batch of cookie as well as the amounts available for each main ingredient. The question is, how many batches of cookies can I make with those ingredients? Anybody want to tell me how I can figure that out? Tell me what I'm going to do. I don't think so. Yes, sir. What do you think?
Maybe you do like for butter, you do 2 and 1/3 divided by.
You're awesome. You're awesome. That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. 2 and 1/3 divided by 3/4. In other words, look right here, guys. Stop what you're doing and listen. Just listen. Look up. Look up. Look up. So let's say I had 10 cups and each batch required 2 cups. How many batches of cookies can I make? That was easy, right?
Right.
But as soon as somebody introduces fractions, people have trouble. And so what I try to tell kids, if you're not seeing it clearly because of the fractions are confusing you, change the fractions to just whole numbers. And then somebody would say, if you redo it now and say, look, I have 10 cups, each batch requires 2 cups, it was easy to say that it was what? 5. So we did 10 divided by 2. So he said it perfectly. I'm going to take what? 2 and 1/3 and divide it by 3/4. All right? Now, what you have to do, though, is you have to write down this, though, for me. So butter, right? I've got butter. I'm going to do 2 and 1/3, and we're going to divide that by 3/4. And somebody tell me what that is.
9
I don't think so.
3 and 1 like low.
3 and what?
1/9.
I think it's 3 and 1/9. Does that make sense? Right, now make sure you're typing 2 ABC1 ABC3 divided by 3 ABC4. And now everybody's got to be doing that on your calculator now. Come on. Everybody needs to do that on the calculator. You guys, why don't you switch seats if he needs to charge? Just switch seats. That'd be the easiest thing to do. Is everybody happy with that? So if we just needed butter to make cookies, we could make how many batches of cookies? 3. But we're not using just what? Butter. We also need what? Brown sugar. All right? So I need brown sugar. So how many batches of brown sugar, or how many batches of cookies could I make using brown sugar? But how would I do it, though? You have to tell me. You're awesome, girl. 3 and 2/3 divided by 3/4, and tell me what that is.
I got 4 and 8/9.
Somebody else, double checker, please. Is that right? 4 and 8/9? Everybody's double checking.
4 and 8/9.
Everybody's double checking. 4 and 8/9. All right. So how many batches can I make right now? Nope.
No, you
How many batches? I still can make 3.
Because it's more than brown sugar. I mean, butter is less than brown sugar.
Yeah.
So you'll have extra brown sugar.
That's 100% correct. 100%. Exactly. All right. Now I need to figure out what my flour. How many batches of cookies if I just needed flour? What would I do? Say it. Come on. 4 1/2 divided by 1 2/3. And tell me what that is, Will. I know you are. Take your time.
2 7/10.
2 7/10. Now we have to come to some agreement. I need some help with that. Double check, please.
That's what I got.
All right. 2 7/10. I'm happy with that. All right. Now after flour, I need what? Sugar. All right. So somebody tell me about sugar. What do I need to do for sugar?
You have to do 2
Good job. 2 1/8 divided by 2/3. And what did that come out to be?
I got 3
3 3/16. So now I'm back to the question. How many batches of cookies can I make?
3.
Allison, how many cookies? How many batches? Right, only 2. If I try to make 3, I'm going to run out of what? I'm going to run out of flour. Is everybody happy with that explanation? Come on now, look, on your paper, that's just what I have down is what you have down. And you're using your calculator to get the answer, but I still need to see what you're doing to get that problem. Is everybody happy with that explanation, right?
Yes.
So now the answer we just put down is what? I can make 2 batches. All right, I can make 2 batches of those cookies. All right, now let's read question number 2. It says, if you make as many batches as possible, how much of each ingredient will you have left? Hanson, how do I figure this out? How many batches am I going to make, first of all?
2.
Exactly. So how much butter am I going to have left? What do I have to do?
You're going to subtract 3 1/9 by 2.
So butter. Come on now. I'm making 2 batches of cookies. How much does each batch need butter? How much butter goes free?
3/4.
Exactly.
So you times that by 2.
Perfect. So the first thing is we're making 2 batches of cookies. So he's going to tell me that I'm going to do 3/4 times 2, which is what? Use your calculator. 1 1/2 cups. Everybody should know that. All right, now Hanson, how much butter am I going to have left?
So you're going to have,
How do I figure it out, though?
you subtract 3 1/9 by
Why 3 1/9?
because that's
How much butter do I have to start with?
3.
No, that's
You had 2 and 1/3.
yes. He has 2 1/3 cups, right? How much did I use?
You used 3 or no.
Total for the 2 batches.
1.
So how much do I have left? How do I figure it out?
Subtract.
There you go. Very good. So the butter, I have a total of 2 1/3, but I used what? 1 1/2. So what's 2 1/3 minus 1 1/2? I'm waiting for Hanson to tell me. And everybody else is confirming this.
It's 1 and 5 minutes.
How did you get that?
I subtracted 2. Oh, I understand.
Mm-hmm. Didn't get it. He's got it.
Five, 6.
Yes. Does everybody agree with that? He has 5/6 of a cup left. Is everybody happy with that? All right. So now I'm going to circle it and move it over a little bit. All right. So now I'm listening.
How'd you get that?
Okay. So do you know I'm making 2 batches, correct?
Yes.
So each batch requires 3/4 of a cup. Do you understand that? So if I multiply 2 times 3/4, that'll tell me how much butter I'm going to use. So I have 1 1/2 cups I'm using. How much should I start with?
You started with 3/4.
I started with total available.
Oh,
You with me now, right? And I used what?
Oh, and you just subtracted that?
Exactly. Come on now. It's got to click. All right, that's how much butter is left. That's how much butter is left. Everybody good with that? All right, so my next question is brown sugar. All right, so brown sugar. Hunter, what do I need to do for brown sugar?
Well, first what you need to do is how much brown sugar you need
Right, so how do I figure that out?
for a batch. So you have 3/4, and then it's pretty much the same like as the butter because it's 3/4.
Right.
So it would be 1 1/2.
Right, so you used 1 1/2. That was exactly the way I should have said it. All right, it's the same as what? Butter. So I've used 1 1/2 cups. So how much butter or how much brown sugar do I have left? What would I have to do?
You have to take the 3 2/3
Exactly.
and then subtract it by 1
And you tell me what that answer is. Everybody else get 2 4/9?
I got 2 and 1/6.
You guys got to be careful plugging this thing in now. Hunter, check that out again. Make sure. I think it's 2 1/6. All right.
I got 2 and 1/6.
All right. So that was the brown. That's okay. It doesn't matter. We're good now. 2 1/6. That's what I'm telling you. Just got to be real careful. All right. Now flour. All right.
So you have to take 1 2/3
Good.
and multiply it by 2.
Exactly. 1 2/3 times 2 is
I got
3
3
1/3.
and then you have to take 4 1/2 and subtract 3 1/3.
Perfect. And what do I have there?
I got 1.
4 1/2 minus 3 1/3 is 1.
I got 1 1/6.
Oh, I did 3 1/2. Yeah, I got 1 1/6.
All right, good. So you have 1 1/6 cup of flour remaining. All right, and the last one, Kate, I want you to tell me how to do the sugar. What do I have to do for sugar to figure out how much is left?
2/3
Yes,
times 2.
you're awesome. 2/3 times 2. And tell me what that is.
I got 1/3.
Try it again. 2 ABC 3 times 2.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so 1 1/3. So how much sugar does she have left? What do I have to do? No. Now listen, this is how many batches. That's not how much we have. Look right here. Here's where you figure out how much you have.
So 2 and 1/8
Good.
minus
Good. 2 1/8 minus 1 1/3, and I'm waiting for that answer. Try it again. Like I said, somebody just have to be careful, please, the way you type it in. Just a minute, she's trying to get 2 1/8. Oh wait, did I put 1/8 here? Yeah. should have been, hold on a second, I may have written that down. Sugar, 2/3 times 2. Oh, no, that's right. That's right. 2 1/8. I'm sorry. So do 2 1/8 minus 1 1/3. What does it say? Yeah. Yeah, 19 over 24. Anybody else get 19 over 24? Yeah, I don't think it's wrong. All right, it can look weird. 19 over 24. All right. Does anybody have any questions with that? Anybody have any questions? All right. That's just a good way of getting you used to using your calculator. All right. Now, the final question. All right. The final question is, which ingredient will you run out of first?
Flour.
You would definitely run out of the flour first, correct? So everybody's putting flour down. Because you only had enough to make what? 2 batches, right? But everything else you had the ability to make 3 or 4.
What about butter?
How many batches can you make for butter?
6, 5, 6.
No.
Oh, 5, 6 cups. Oh,
You with me now?
yeah.
Okay. So it says, how much more of this ingredient would you need in order to make an additional batch of cookies? Tell me about this. What would I do? I ran out of flour. So you got to run to your neighbors to get some extra flour so you can make a 3rd batch. How much would you have to borrow to make a 3rd batch? Tell me your thought process. What would I do? Lander, go ahead. What are you thinking? No, it's not.
It's 2 7/10, so I just like get 3/10 more
3/10 more of what?
flour.
I got 1 half
Actually, it's not a bad thought, but it's 3/10 of a batch, right? But let's do something else. Miles, what are you thinking?
3, 6, 1 half.
But I'm trying to figure out how you're coming up with these numbers.
Oh,
What would I do?
what I did was I took, so I took what we had left of the flour, 1/6, well, 1 1/6,
Exactly.
and then how much we needed, which was 1 2/3.
Exactly.
And so I made them,
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What would I have to do to those numbers, though?
You'd have to make the 2/3
Add them, subtract them, multiply, divide.
multiplied by 2, but only.
Wait a minute. It says.
I know, but then you make them so that you can subtract 1 and
Well, we're
1/6.
using a calculator.
Or you could,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're using a calculator. So tell me again, what would I do? How much
1 2/3.
how much flour do I have left?
You have 1 1/6.
I have 1 1/6 cup of flour left. In order to make a batch, I need how much flour?
1 2/3.
Exactly. I need 1 2/3. So how much do I have to borrow? How would I figure out how much I have to borrow?
You subtract.
Yes, very nice. Very nice. That's a good job right there. I have 1 1/6 flour left, cups. I need 1 2/3. So all I have to do is do what? Subtract those two. Good job, Miles. Tell me what that answer is.
1 half.
We need 1/2 cup. So you got to run to your neighbor and say, hey, can I borrow 1/2 cup of flour?
And then you can make a
Then you can make a 3rd batch. All right. Now, again, that's very tricky. Now, the problem, though, is I'm thinking for some of you, if you don't know what I'm saying, it's going to be very difficult on Friday. So I need you to speak up right now if you're going, man, I'm not sure about that. Speak up. Everybody's pretty good?
Yeah.
Especially the calculator makes it a lot less stressful because it'll do the work. Good for you.
We get to use this on Friday?
Wow. What do you think?
Yes.
Of course. I said we're using the calculator. All right? The objective is to give you harder word problems. All right? And if you have your calculator, it's not as stressful. What?
Sorry, I'm just. How did you get the 1 2/3 and 1 1/6?
Okay, so for every batch, I need what? I need 1 2/3 cups of flour. I right now have only 1 1/6 cup left,
Oh, I see.
right?
Subtract.
Because that's how much more I need to get to the next batch.
Oh.
You got that now, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. All right. Now listen, tonight I need you to look over this. If you're sitting there going, wow, I'm not 100% sure, I need you to think about it. These are tricky questions for a reason. All right. Now we're going on to the next one. In questions 4 through 6, use the table that shows the distance you walked each day this week. All right. So, how far did you walk over these 5 days? Mr. Alex, what would I have to do?
When you have to add them all up.
All you do is add them up. All right, so now take out your calculator. You're adding Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm waiting for your answer.
Twelve and 1/6.
Hold on a second. Alex, what did you come up with? I'm waiting for you. It's all right. Just take your time and give me the answer. What'd you get? Tell me.
I don't know why.
What did it say?
It says 8 and 100.
You just type something in. All right, so try it again. All right, clear everything off and try it again. And then someone else, tell me what the answer is. What everybody else get?
12 and 1/6.
12 and 1/6. Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Now again, remember now, the important part right now is that you're practicing typing the numbers in on the calculator. You're not letting me type the 12 and 1/6 in. Right? Did you type all that in? That's the problem. That's the problem, girl. Come on. Chop, chop. I'm on this problem right here. You're adding those. Come on. Chop, 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 chop. What? Look what I'm doing. Yes, I said just write it down. So if tonight, if you're going, wow, how did he do that? You look at your notes and say, oh yeah, he just added them. And you're using your calculator to add them together. Did you get 12 and 1/6 now? Okay. Well, I'm still expecting you to get 12 and 1/6, girl. Come on, man. You gotta move, 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 move. All right, now the hard part. How do I figure out the average? Hurry up, man, because I got a hard problem coming up. How do I figure out the average?
I keep 12 and 1/6 divided by 5.
Exactly.
Which is 2 and 13.
So everybody's supposed to write this down. 12 and 1/6 divided by 5. What did you get for that?
2 and 13 thirtieths.
2 and 13/30 miles. And over here, I'd left this off, but I don't want you guys leaving it off. Miles. That's what we're walking. So I averaged what? 2 and 13/30. Is everybody happy with that explanation?
Yes.
Any questions? All right. Now, the hard part. Question number 6. It says, you plan to walk on Saturday. How far must you walk on this day so that your 6-day average is 2.5 miles? Hunter, what are you thinking?
Well, you have your average already, which is 2 and 13/30. So what I think it would be is that you just add 2/30.
No, because then that would be your average, 2 and 13/30.
Oh, okay.
All right. So again, listen. Tell me what you're thinking.
You would add, you would have to make it 2 and 15/30, so that it's 2 and 1/2.
That's not a bad idea, but no. What would I do?
Add 2 and 13/30 plus 2 and 1. Oh, wait. No, 2 and 13 30 is.
Nope. William, what?
Oh, maybe you divide.
Listen to me, guys. Here's what I want everybody to write down, because this is, for some reason, really hard for kids, and I don't know why. So listen up, please. How many days am I going to walk?
6.
So here's what I want you to write down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to walk for 6 days. Now, how many miles do I need to walk each day to average 2.5 miles?
Last day you walked.
No, but I'm not even asking that. I'm asking how many miles do I need to walk every day to average 2.5 miles? Say it again. 2.5. If I walk 2.5 days here, 2.5 days here, 2.5 days, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, for those 6 days, my average will be what?
2.5.
My average will be 2.5.
You didn't do anything?
But the problem is I didn't walk 2.5 every day. So now my question to you is, how many miles will I have to walk total for those 6 days in order to average 2.5? Somebody be smart and tell me. How much?
It would be 12 and 1. Wait. Because you'd have to.
How do I do it on the calculator? Well, what am I doing? 15. How did you do that on the calculator?
I did 2 and 1/2 times 6.
Exactly. 2 1/2 times 6. Miles, you with me?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, guys. I mean it about the calculator. If I'm asking you to do things on the calculator, I mean take the calculator in your hand and do 2 1/2 times 6. I don't want you to put down the answer is 15 because he's smart and he said it was 15. You're not getting smarter when you do that. You have to physically do that on your own. 2.5 times 6. And what's 2.5 times 6? 15. So he needs to walk a total of what?
15 miles.
If he wants to average what?
2 and 1/2.
2.5. Everybody hear me on that?
Yes.
So now my question is, how many miles do I need to walk on Saturday to make sure that I've averaged 2.5 for the week? 15. So I have to walk 15 miles on Saturday to make sure that I've walked 15 miles for the whole week. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Wow. Someone who's thinking, only Miles is thinking today. Tell us, Miles, what the answer is.
2 and 5 6.
How did you get that?
Because I took 15 and I subtracted 12 and 1/6.
Wow. Brilliant. Brilliant. Again, how many miles did we walk already, guys? On Monday through Friday. We walked 12 and 1/6 miles already. I need to walk a total of how many? 15. So again, how do I figure out how many I walk on Saturday?
You subtract 12 and 1/6 from 15.
Right, guys. Come on, man. That wasn't that hard. 15 minus 12 and 1/6. Which miles? Go ahead.
It is 2 and 5 6.
Yeah, I got it.
2 and 5 6 miles, guys. Very good. Very, very good. Now look, I'm not even asking you to understand that completely right at the moment. But I'm asking you to say, okay, yeah, kind of that makes sense now. I understand it now. Right, so now's the time. I'm telling you, you need to use your calculator. Do the problems on your calculator. Don't let someone else do it for you. All right, does anybody have any issue with how I got 2 and 5 6 miles now?
No.
Right, because if we're going to average 2.5 miles, that means we can multiply 2.5 times the number of days that we walk. That will give you the total. Is everybody happy with that?
Yes.
All right, that's super important, guys. Super, super important. All right, let's take a look at number 7 now. How many square feet of flooring are needed to cover a rectangular room 10 feet 3 inches by 13 feet 9 inches? Wow. We got a problem here.
Is
What's our problem? What's the main problem so far that stands out?
We have to find how many feet are like.
Yes, but they give us what?
They give us 10 feet 3 inches.
Exactly. Can you have mixed up units? No. So I need to convert it to feet. So 10 feet 3 inches is the same as what fraction? 10 feet 3 inches is the same as what? 10 and 3. Yes, hold up. You don't need to say anything. That's exactly correct. Very nice. He said it's 10 and 3 out of 12. And again, your calculator can reduce for you also, but we don't need to do that. But that's going to be what? 10 and 1/4. That little 1 tick mark is feet. So the room is actually 10 1/4 feet. Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
All right. And go ahead. How many inches in a foot? So if you have 3, you have 3 out of 12. Is that good now, right? Okay.
Wouldn't oh, because that's 3 over. Okay.
All right. Now we're doing 13 and 9 inches. 13 feet 9 inches. Yes, Jack. So
13 and 9, 12.
right. So everybody's putting 13 and 9 over 12.
3, 4. 13 and 3, 4.
And so then we would say that's by 13 and 3/4. All right, and you're supposed to practice using the calculator and show that the calculator actually does the reducing for you also. Is that good with you guys? Now, how do I find the area? What's the formula for area? Hanson, do you know?
Area times base.
Area is equal to,
Base times height.
yes, or because we're talking about a rectangle, we can say length times width, or base times height.
So do we just times 10 and 15?
Yes, very good. So everybody now, you're typing in 10 and 1/4 times 13 and 3/4. And
140 and 15, 16. Yeah, that's what I got.
140 and 15/16 square feet. All right, now again, everybody is making sure that they type that in on the calculator. You good on that? Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right, now notice again, you can't combine feet and inches. You cannot combine feet and inches. All right, yes, sir.
Oh, I just had a question. What is that, R plus 2?
Feet squared.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's my fault.
No, it's not.
Here we go. Let's not argue. Feet squared. All right. That wasn't that bad, correct? All right, let's try another one. You have enough paving stones to cover 10 square yards. You plan on making a walkway 30 inches wide. So what's the problem right off the bat?
Inches.
Inches and yards, correct? Is everybody good?
Yeah.
So does anybody know how many inches are in a yard?
36.
36, right? Because there's 3 feet in a yard, correct? 12 inches in a foot. So 12 threes is what? 36. Okay, so now here's where I'm trying to help you with the visual part of it. Please listen. All right, look up. This is my walkway. What's the area of my walkway? What's the area of the walkway? You get it by reading. 30 what?
30 inches.
30 what?
Yards.
Area is what? Not 30, but 10 square yards. Right, so look right here, guys. This right here is 10 square yards. What?
Oh, I can just answer this. I think I know the answer.
Well, so that's the area. What's the width?
2 and 1/2.
No,
30 and
it's 30 inches, but what's the problem?
it's
We're not in what? Yard. We need to be in yards. So 30 inches is how many yards? 30, 36. Brilliant. So now you've drawn the picture for me, because that's what helps you make sense. You've drawn the picture. And now this right here is 30 out of what? 36. And that's what? Yards. Is everybody good with that? But of course you're taking out your handy dandy calculator and go 30, ABC 36, and that reduces to what? What does that reduce to? 5, 6. Is everybody good with that?
Yep.
Right, so this is 5/6 of a yard. Is that us?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on one second. We'll just finish that up.